Today we're going to talk about high frequency words. I know that you've learned some of those yourselves before. You've done some instant words or, whatever. High frequency words is what we're going to call them this year. It means they show up a lot in books and stories, so you need to know how to read them. And I bet that a lot of you do know how to read many of the words that are going to be on our list this next couple days. But if you don't know how to read them, this will help. But also, this mostly helps with spelling, because you can read a whole lot more words than you can spell. So we're going to work on some of the words that maybe we can read, but maybe we can't spell. So this one, well, I guess the green marker doesn't work. Get rid of that. Let's try another one. Try this one. Oh, there we go. You know that word? I thought so. Most of you know that word. Now, that word's easy to read, but what is the tricky part in spelling it? Think about it. Beautiful. Well, you know full. T, you can hear those t, I. Beau. That's a lot of letters in there for you, isn't it? I think this is the tricky part for us. Even still as a grown-up today, sometimes I have to think, is it EA first or is it U first? It is EAU, beautiful. I'll write it again just to practice it. Beautiful. That's how you spell it. Now, there are some other words that are kind of like that just have hard parts, and we're just going to look at them and circle the hard parts and practice writing them. One is the word caught. A lot of you spell it maybe like this, caught. That's not quite right. I know that this says aw. Let's try again, caught. This word in English is spelt with a silent GH. So our tricky part is this big old thing in here. Now if you don't know that AU says aw and you wrote AW the first time, then the whole thing would be tricky. But if you knew AU and this was the tricky part for you. Okay? Those are the tricky parts. In the word caught, like I caught the flu. Not caught, like I slept on a cot. Can you hear the difference? I slept on a cot, but I caught the flu. It's a slight difference in there. It's not a very big difference, but a little one. Another thing, another word, I have to tell you this word because when I was in 3rd grade, I got to be in the all-school spelling bee because my mother made me do extra homework in spelling every night. And so by 3rd grade, I was a pretty good speller. But, so I was in the all-school spelling bee, and this is the word that I missed, that I got out on. I did not win. I didn't even come close to winning, but I misspelled this word. Because when I say it, I say favorite. Favorite. But that's not at all how you spell it. This or in here is the tricky part for me. Favorite. Has a silent E on the end that you don't really hear, and it doesn't make the I say I. It's just there. Favorite. So when I spell it now, in my head I think fave or ite. And then I know how to spell it. But that's just the way that I have learned how to spell it. Favorite. All right. Now, let's see. There's one more word I want to practice with you. Finally. 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 That's what it sounds like, isn't it? Finally. Well, let me show you how you spell it. Finally. Oh, I did that wrong. I spelled it wrong. Look at that. There is only one N. Finally. It's got an A in it. Finally. A lot of times we don't say the A, we just say finally. But really it's finally. So the A is the tricky part. finally. So now I want to do something a little bit different. I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. And I'm going to ask you to spell those 4 words that we just talked about, or 5 words that we just talked about, and see if you can remember what made them tricky and how to do it. All right? That's a pretty quick turnaround. You may not remember yet. I probably wouldn't have. But let's try it. The word is, number 1 is beautiful. Try to write it down. Number 2 is caught. Try to write that down like I caught the flu. Number 3 is finally. I finally got to sleep. Number 4 is favorite. Chocolate is my favorite flavor. Chocolate. Of anything. Chocolate is my favorite flavor. And I guess that's it. We're going to write those 4 words. I did not practice a different one. Okay, that's it. Those 4 words. I want to see how you did. So I'll write them again for you one more time. This is what it should have looked like. There was the tricky part. The next word is caught. There's the tricky part. Well, most of the word is the tricky part. The third one was finally. And here's the tricky part. Finally. And the last one, I guess I'll have to write it up here because you can't see down low, is favorite. Or in my brain I say fave-or-ite. And that or is the tricky part. That O, you know, or. Favorite. So today's assignment, you have attached to your assignment a big long list of words, 500 high frequency words. And on that list, I want you to pick any word that you missed on this list and 7 more. Okay? Just pick 7 words on that list that you don't know how to spell. You might know how to read them, but ones that you don't really know how to spell. And then I want you to write the word. Just copy it off the list. Pink will not work on this word. Just copy it off the list. So copy it off the list. And then I want you to circle the tricky part. In this word it would be or. And then just write it one more time for practice. And that's for today. So you should have 7 words plus any of these that you might have missed. So you might have 11 words, but you might only have 7. Just depends. And that is great. And that's what we're going to do. Today and tomorrow we're going to work on high frequency words. So thanks very much. Bye.